Well, thank you very much, Daniel. They're great, a great introduction. Thank you. Should I be on this side?
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm going to work this out in a minute.
Push it to point towards the computer. Towards the computer. There.
That was actually COVID, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's a little bit about me. I'm a chartered accountant. I do CFO advisory work, and I've had all that experience. I'll work this out in a minute. So what's my purpose? My purpose is to provide best practice financial and accounting solutions for my clients, but more importantly, it's to raise awareness for the need for proper financial management in business. Now, the reason why I'm so concerned about that is I'm really concerned about business failure statistics. I know I've talked to you about this before, but within the first year of starting a new business, 60% fail. By the 5th year, 80% have failed, and by the 10th year, there's only 4 left. Now, businesses fail because of bad management, but they all fail because they run out of cash. Now, what's interesting about the statistics is that 40% of those businesses that fail were actually profitable. So there's a disconnect between profit and cash. And part of what I do with my clients is to highlight that difference and actually to manage the way that we do that. So think of profit as the bread and butter of your business, but think of cash as your oxygen. I think that was mentioned before. So what makes a successful business? There's 4 legs of the table. I've talked about this before. The first one is the artist creator. That's the ideas person, the talent, the innovation. In modern companies, we call it new products, R&D. Secondly, you have the leader manager, which is the operations guy. He's the person who puts the product out in the street. You get the product and manufacture it. It's a service product. You provide the service, whatever. The third one is what I call the entrepreneur, and that's the sales and marketing. I'm an old-fashioned guy. Marketing is all about creating leads, and sales is all about converting those leads. And the fourth, of course, is finance, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit this morning. Not too much, but a little bit about it. So the essentials of a good finance function is that we have planning and budgets, we have daily cash management, we have monthly reporting, we have a daily scorecard, we have up-to-date records, and we understand financial reports, including the balance sheet and profit and loss. If you're going to be successful in business, people, you really need to have a working knowledge of the financial reports and understand what they mean. All businesses need to invest in the finance function, and many businesses that have failed could have been successful with a good financial mentor. Funding and cash flow. I know this is going to be a little bit instructional, I apologise for this, but most of you see what a profit and loss statement looks like. In this case here, we have $3 million revenue, we have cost of sales of 2.1, and we have GP, which is gross profit, at 900,000, that's 30%. We have OPEX of 20%, and we have an EBIT, that's earnings before interest and tax, of 10%. Now, why am I showing this to you? It's probably all boring for you. But there's 2 things I usually ask my clients. If you want to make a 30% gross margin on your product, I'll give you an example. If you have a $100 product that costs you $100, what do you have to sell it for to make 30% gross profit? Any volunteers? No accountants are allowed to answer this one. Yes? It's not 130. 100 what? 142 point, yes, you're right. Yeah, well done. And that's something that you need to understand when you set your price list up. You need to understand that. It's the same with labour rates as well. Coming back to the profit, the other second point I want to make out of the profit and loss statement is that when I speak to customers, I usually whiteboard their business. And we come up with, and we whiteboard that on the whiteboard, and we say, wow, you know, you're going to make 10% EBIT here. He says, Bruce, yeah, but I've run out of cash. My creditors are out 90 days. I'm on payment programs for 160 days. The ATOs are coming down on me heavy. What can I do about it? I said, hang on, you're profitable, but you're running out of cash. Yes, that's right. So what I explained to them is that we have a look at the balance sheet, and we look at the inventory, we look at the accounts receivable, and then we deduct off that the free credit that you get from your trade creditors. And in this case here, we have $150,000 working capital. That is your core funding for your business. And unless you have that money either as retained earnings or cash or as a bank overdraft, you're going to run out of cash, and therefore you get into trouble. So it's really important to understand how the balance sheet works. The trouble with a lot of modern day businesses today is that you can't get money from the banks. You know, I talked to Will, I talked to Peter, and the only way you can get funding nowadays is to either put up your home, which is not legal, or to finance your debtors, or to finance your plant equipment. So what I suggest to you is that you need to unleash the cash within your business, and that's part of what I do. Now, just to show of hands, who's bought something over the internet in the last month? How did you pay for it? Credit card, debit card? So there's a trend in society right now, it's a cultural change, where goods are being paid for immediately before you sell, before you get delivery. All businesses will be like this going forward, so you need to think about them right now. There's a lot of other points that I put up there. I can't go through all of them, but you need to have a look at unleashing the cash within your business. So how do you refer Bruce Whall Consulting? Well, I go back to the 4 legs of the table. If any of those legs are broken, then you need to get me involved on the finance side. You could probably get George to help you with the sales and marketing side of it and the operations side. And So I think I'm running out of time, so I'll leave you with these 2 quotes. Successful people make a habit of doing what failures do not like to do. And if you think it's expensive to hire a professional, wait until you hire an amateur. Thank you.